Hey everybody, welcome to Leadership Adventure. I'm Marv McCarthy, your host, and thanks for hanging out with me today. Leadership Adventure is all about offering insight and inspiration to help empower leaders. And if you've joined us for the very first time today, glad you are visiting and welcome. We do 2 episodes a week. On Tuesday we have the blog, which is designed for all leaders, and on Thursdays we release the Devo, which is for faith-based leaders. So today, Tuesday, February 13th, 2024, which means it's time for the blog, and our episode today is called The Frogfest. Are you intrigued? Let's jump in. So this all started years ago. I've had a folder on my computer for many years now that I call frogs. Yep, frogs, just like it sounds. Inside the folder are, you guessed it, frogs. Now, the reason for all this silliness is because frogs is actually the term that I use to describe my ideas. Anytime I have an idea or a concept that I'd like to explore further, I simply jot it down inside a file inside the frogs folder. Now, for me at least, most of my ideas happen, when I'm driving or when I'm in the middle of something else, or maybe when I wake up in the middle of the night. So since that is the case, I always know that I can return to the ideas later as long as I take the time to safely tuck them away in the frogs folder. Now, and by the way, just a little tip that I found helpful, I hate turning on the light in the middle of the night to write something down. So what I've done is started using the voice memos feature on my phone. It's a lot quicker and it's a lot easier to fall back asleep. Now, as you know, and probably you've experienced this with your own ideas, some ideas turn out to be great and others eventually fizzle. So the reason I call my ideas frogs is that sometimes all it takes is for a frog to receive a kiss from a beautiful princess to turn into a prince of an idea and something that could have wide application or impact down the road. And this has been true, especially now for me since I'm developing content and writing so much. This whole folder's taken on a new life, and I'm really glad that I've actually hung on to it over the years. Now, with that as background, let's apply the frogs idea to an aspect of our leadership. I've led a lot of project teams, I've managed a lot of employees, and I've found quite a bit that some teams just have a hard time thinking outside the box. And some teams have a hard time bringing fresh creativity to organizational issues or problems. Now, the traditional way of handling this for many, many years has been brainstorming. Let's get together and brainstorm. Now, there's nothing wrong with brainstorming. It's a great tool, but the name is rather long in the tooth. And when you say brainstorming, people think, okay, we're just going to have another meeting. So if you find yourself or your team or your whole organization maybe struggling with this area, today I'm going to suggest that you add a little bit of whimsy to the brainstorming process, perhaps make it a little more fun. And that's why I chose today's title, The Frogfest. The Frogfest is the new brainstorming. Now, before we get into the Frogfest idea, first and foremost, as a fundamental and foundational issue for any team to be truly creative, there needs to be a sense of trust, comfort among the team members, and safety for them to speak up. Now, if you as the leader have not established those, no amount of fun is going to solve your problem. So make sure and work on getting that right first. Once you've got that foundation established, however, there are a few possible benefits of a fresh approach. The first is a fun name creates an environment of openness. It can let people know that no matter how unconventional or frog-like an idea is, all ideas are welcome, and so maybe they're a little bit more likely to speak up. Number 2, I think at least, that a fun name fosters creativity. So the whimsical nature of the term can inspire more creative thinking, and sometimes all people need is just a different word picture for something, and that can help you or your team turn the corner on generating some new ideas. Number 3, an interesting name like Frogfest is not boring. Man, work days get long. We've all got long lists of things to do, and sometimes it's drudgery going to another meeting. So maybe you can add a little bit of a spark or a little bit of interest to a boring workday just by throwing out a fun name. Maybe even create a little sense of anticipation. And finally, a fun name may help you visualize transformation. And what I mean by that is that visualizing the image of a frog turning into a prince, even though it's a really simple idea, it can maybe visualize or trigger or spark in people's minds how some ideas can become significant and be a part of long-term impact, but all those ideas start small and they may not seem like good ideas right out of the gate. So one caution about this whole Frogfest or fun idea: don't make this gimmicky or it will most likely backfire. You know, again, if you've got a super serious culture, you might want to work on baking a little bit of fun into your company culture over time before you try something like this, because that sustainability will create the best outcomes. So bottom line, you guys, have some fun with your team and create some success together. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for me to leap on over to my next appointment. Thanks for tuning in today. Have a great week, and I will see you next time.